Good evening, Lieutenant RN. Welcome to tonight's trivia. Hope you had a great weekend. Good evening, Kathleen. Welcome to tonight's trivia. I hope you had a great weekend as well. Sweet Universe, Joe Tall Chief, good evening. Welcome to tonight's trivia. Saw the Buddhist monks yesterday that came through your town. That must have been cool. We have a Buddhist temple here. It's one town over from me. Uh, they run a nursery, like a plant nursery on top of it. It's like next to it, next to their actual temple. Good evening, Purple. But they sell them. You never see them in town doing anything. I don't know where they shop at. They must have other people to go shopping for them because we never see them in the stores. But that'd be really cool to see Buddhist monks. Gianna Marie, good evening. Welcome everyone to tonight's trivia. All the trivia questions tonight are pertain to Ted Bundy or Dennis Rader, the bind, torture, kill serial killer. And we'll get into how the questions are actually formatted tonight here in a little bit once we get everybody in who's going to join us. I usually like to give it about 4 minutes. People get their notifications, sit down, and get ready. But Ted Bundy or Dennis Rader? Oh yeah, there are definitely a lot of Amish and Mennonites in northern Minnesota. Another 20 seconds here, and we'll get this going. But I want to welcome everyone and thank you again. If you're watching this afterwards, thank you for being here. If you enjoy the content, give it a thumbs up. I appreciate it. But with that said, let's get tonight's trivia going. This is the 391st episode of True Crime Trivia. This trivia night is intended solely for entertainment and educational purposes. At no point do we diminish or disrespect the victims or survivors, nor do we place the perpetrator on a pedestal or present them in a manner that invites admiration or education or admiration. My educational background is in journalism and in research, and every question presented tonight is supported by verified facts and claims and documented sources. All questions are presented in multiple choice format. All participation is individual. There are no teams, no logins required, and no fees to play. This event is entirely free and designed simply for enjoyment. Participants are welcome to keep score if they choose, but it is equally acceptable to play without tracking your correct answers. Remember to be on live chat or all chat. not top chat. So that way you don't see a delay between the questions that you're answering, and other people's answers as well. With that said, tonight is a simplified version of trivia night. Each question is simple. The questions are, who is the question about? Is the question about one or both or neither? Tonight's trivia will focus on the following areas. Number one, crimes committed. Two, the investigation and sentencing. Three, methods of operation or methods of operandi. Verified lesser known facts. Each question is rated in the following way: easy, medium to hard. Each question has the same value. One correct answer is one correct. One wrong is one wrong. These are the outlines. If you want to read through them, you can. For easy, medium, hard, and not ranked questions. Without further delay, let's get ready to rumble on some trivia. Question number one is now on your screen. Which killer most frequently used fabricated physical injury to disarm victims? Was it A, BTK, B, Bundy, C, both equally, or D, neither? And that is all of the questions are formatted the same way: BTK, Bundy, or equally, or neither. One second, I'm trying to get rid of this other box. Go away, box. There we go. I got rid of it. Yay. Good evening, every lady. Welcome to tonight's trivia. I hope everyone had a pleasant weekend. I know it's tough out there. We can all sit back here and learn a little something about these serial killers. Question number one, and I have no idea why number 1 of 20 moved over to the right. I saw that afterwards that there's a couple of them that did that, and I've since corrected it for next week, but I couldn't correct it for this one because it's already been uploaded. Which killer most frequently used fabricated physical injury to disarm victims? The correct answer is B, as in boy, Ted Bundy. Question number 2. Which killer sent law enforcement detailed communications describing his crimes? Was it A, BTK, B, Bundy, C, both equally, or D, neither? Question number 2 of 20. Excuse me. Which serial killer sent law enforcement detailed communications describing his crimes? Question number 2 of 20. The correct answer is A, as in apple. BTK, Dennis Rader. Dennis Rader loved to play little jokes and taunt the law enforcement agents who were, trying to catch him. And he sent detailed communications to him about crimes that he had committed, crimes that he was going to commit, and just basically toying with them. Question number 3. Which killer's arrest was directly linked to a surviving victim's courtroom testimony? Was it A, BTK, B, Bundy, C, equally, or D, neither? I'm trying to remember what they're called, Sweet Universe. They are Gimbals. That's the name of the company that makes them. They're candies. They're peanut-free, gluten-free, and fat-free candies. They're licorice root extract. I'm sorry, I'm snacking on these. They cause a lot of phlegm. I'll just say the word. I know it's kind of gross to have to say, but they're good. I'm not much of a candy person, but I like these Scotty dogs. How is BTK doing in prison? He is on end of life. He's not on end of life support. He is near death. That's the best way to put it. He has been moved from his actual prison cell to the prison hospital. They already called his family about being near him. Law enforcement wants to see if there's anything else he wants to confess to. They've been in contact with him. They do believe, even to this day, that BTK, Dennis Rader, has other victims out there, but we're not sure. They're hoping that he'll, want to make a deathbed confession, though. Question: the correct answer to which killer arrest was directly linked to surviving courtroom testimony? The correct answer is, for question number 3, is B, Bundy. Question number 4. Which killer remained undetected for over a decade due to long cooling off periods? Was it A, BTK, B, Bundy, C, both equally, or D, neither? So he's getting ready to meet his maker. Yes. To say that, at least Sweet Universe, he is near the end of his time on this existence. But when he makes his maker, there's a special place in hell for people like Mr. Rader. And FYI, his daughter does not want to talk to him. I think he has only just a one, but he might have more. I can't remember. Gemma. Good evening and welcome to tonight's trivia. It's past midnight in the UK right now, ladies and gentlemen. Question number 4. Which killer remained undetected for over a decade due to long cooling off periods? The correct answer is A, as an apple. Dennis Rader. Question number 5. Which killer used ligatures he often brought with him rather than relying on found objects? Was it A, BTK, B, Bundy, C, both equally, or D, neither? Not on speaking terms apparently right now. From what I read in the it was Cairo TV, Kiro TV's article on Dennis Rader, uh, was that he is not speaking with his daughter. She doesn't want anything to do with him. Maybe they had a good relationship at one point, but not so much anymore. Oh, it's all right. We all knew what you're talking about, Sweet Universe. Saying hello to Gemma, and then you ask the question. Good evening, Purple. Welcome to tonight's trivia. I hope there's no one creepy standing next to you. You never know who's going to be knocking at your door. Remember that. The mortal words of Purple. You never know who's going to be standing next to you next, and you never know who's going to be knocking at your door. Question number 5. Which killer used ligatures he often brought with him rather than relying on objects found? The correct answer is C, as in cat. Both of them. Ted Bundy, if you've never seen it before, had what he called his kill kit. Actually, he didn't call it a kill kit. He called it his ready kit. Bundy did. It consisted of ski mask, rope, gloves, knife. These things were all in Bundy's ready kit. FYI, it was a kill kit. But Dennis Rader had the same thing, especially during the time that he was installing security alarm systems. He had a kit in a bag in the trunk of his car that he took with him everywhere. But both of them, were into bringing something, a ligature, to strangle, suffocate, kill their victims. Then, rather than rely upon something that could be found to complete the task. Question number 6. Which killer's crime spanned the greatest number of U.S. states? Was it A, BTK, B, Bundy, C, both equally, or D, neither? Don't know. I don't know if there's anything online about it. Let's see. Well, I'll just Google it. Carrie Rawson, Rawson, the daughter of BTK's serial killer Dennis Rader, stopped communicating with her father and obtained a no contact order against him because because of continued harassment, cyber stalking from prison, and his lack of remorse. That was as of October of 2025. Carrie Rawson, again, it says, the daughter of BTK serial killer Dennis Rader, stopped communicating with her father and obtained a no contact order against him because of continued harassment, cyber stalking from prison, and his lack of remorse, is what it says. And that is on KMBC television. What is that like a television station? I believe it's a Channel 9 ABC. Yep. KMBC Channel 9 ABC affiliate is the one where I just read that. Ought to be. Good evening and welcome to tonight's trivia. Well, hello, long time no see. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Little welcome back kata for you. All right. For the answer to which killer's crime spanned the greatest number of U.S. states, the correct answer is B, as in boy, Ted Bundy. All the way from Washington State, all the way to the state of Florida, and several others, in between. Next question. Which killer kept trophies from victims they would go back to and relive the rapes and murders? Was it A, BTK, B, Bundy, C, both equally, or D, neither? Which killer kept trophies from victims they would go back to and relive the rapes and murders? Just listening tonight, I had a high anxiety all day, not feeling 100%. Okay. Well, you take care of yourself, Gemma. Which killer kept trophies and went back to their victims? Ooh, C seems to be a popular answer tonight for this one. Good evening, Inner Peas. Welcome to tonight's trivia. I hope you had a terrific day today. Thank you for joining us. The answer to this question is C, as in cat. Both of them equally. I believe it was a year ago that they actually dug up the backyard of a house that Dennis Rader used to live in, and to find other items that he had kept as trophies that he had buried in the backyard of his own house. They were able to find several, scraps of clothing and other things that he most likely took as trophies from each victim. But Bundy was more well known for going back over and over again to his victims to visit them again until their bodies became putrid. It would redress, it would clean up their dressings, their clothing, straighten it, make it neat, reapply makeup, brush their hair. This is how he helped the FBI in catching the Green River Killer, because he knew all about what that man was doing, because he had done the same thing. Rader, when he killed someone, he didn't always go back to him over and over again, but he did. Some victims he did go back to see multiple times, not to have sex with them or to necessarily do anything to them, but he went back to see them again, reliving in his brain what it felt like to take that person's life. Both of them disgusting individuals. Next question. Which killer once had a desire to get into political office, even going as far as applying and volunteering for other political politicians? Was it A, BTK, B, Bundy, C, both equally, or D, neither? Reminds you of the Green River Killer? Yes. Bundy helped give the FBI a profile that, described the Green River Killer to a T. The one thing he told the FBI, the most important thing that rang true, and they're able to finally catch him, the Green River Killer, he told them, the next time you find a body, don't touch it. Don't go anywhere near the body. He knows where every twig is. He knows where every gum wrapper is. He knows where everything is around that victim, and he knows everything about that victim. Don't touch the victim. Leave it and observe the situation from a distance. And that's what they did. And that is eventually how they caught the Green River Killer, was because of what Bundy had told the FBI. Because it was what he was doing. Gruesome, greasy, and newsome. A B seems to be a popular one for this one. The answer to this question is, in fact, B as in boy, Ted Bundy. Ted Bundy helped and volunteered at not one, but two different politicians who were running for state positions. And he actually thought about himself at one point around the time that he worked at the suicide hotline about getting into politics himself, and spoke of it with his close friend at the actual suicide hotline about maybe getting into politics himself. Question number 10. Which killer often overdrew their checking account because they forgot to deposit their paycheck? Was it A, BTK, B, Bundy, C, both equally, or D, neither? Question number 10. Which killer often overdrew their checking account because they forgot to deposit their paycheck? Question number 10 of 20. 10. Kim Kardashian. Kathleen is going with D. Left-handed Rand going with D. Geometry A. Sweet Universe B. And Ivory Lady is going with A. Purple is going with A as well. In a piece, I'm going to go with Kim Kardashian. JDR. Good evening, JDR. Welcome to tonight's trivia. I hope you had a terrific weekend. I'm glad you could be here with us tonight. Purple, A. My related JDR going with A as well. The correct answer to question number 10 is D as in dog. This clue is for neither one of these two individuals. Dennis Rader, from his jobs that he had over the years, had direct deposit, or he gave this check to his wife, who would then deposit it into the bank. Bundy, there's not a whole lot of information about how he did his banking, but I'm sure he did it somehow, over the years. But neither one of them forgot to deposit their paychecks because, they were busy, killing, working, whatever. That is the first 10 questions. As we normally do, if you're new here, we take a 5 to 6 minute break while I cover cases of people who are missing and endangered. Do whatever you need to do. Make a sandwich, make a cup of tea, smoke a giant bowl of hashish. I don't care. You do what you do. I'm not doing it. I'm going to cover two cases of people who are missing across America and Canada. With that said, I am working with the Missing Center for Missing and Exploited Children, the Charlie Project, the FBI, the Alaska Bureau of Investigations of Indigenous Missing Persons Unit, The RCMP from Canada, along with NamUs, in coordination with state and local law enforcement agencies. Together, we aim to shine a light on these missing cases, to support the families impacted, and to keep their stories alive in hopes of bringing a resolution. If you want to read this, you can pause it and read it and then catch up. But basically bringing on the RMCP and the Alaska Bureau of missing Indigenous people this year, shows that not only am I helping make a difference, but law enforcement, understands that, the difference I'm helping, make. None of these agencies pay me ever. No one has ever paid me a dime. I do this because I care. And that's why I'm showcasing these missing people across the United States and Canada. Never give up hope. The oldest missing person case was solved in 2024. She had been missing for 43 years when found alive and well. 43 years. That's an awful long time. Case number 1 is Jordan Kathleen Thompson. No alias is known for Jordan. She was 25 years of age when she vanished. She turned 28 years of age in 2025. She is a Caucasian female. She vanished from Bandera, Texas on 4/22 of 2022. She is 5'4", 140 pounds, with blonde hair and brown eyes. No known features or habits, but yes, she does have several tattoos, but no known photographs of the tattoos. No known medical conditions. She was last seen leaving the Country Club Bar and Grill and walking alone along PR 37, which is like a 2-lane county highway road. But in Bandera, Texas, on the evening of April 22nd of 2022, at the time she vanished, she was wearing pink low-top sneakers, dark pink with darker pink laces, also wearing blue jeans and a blue shirt. Take a close look at the photo here, this one in particular of the two. She had recently, before she vanished, had cut her hair to a shorter length each, so it was approximately 2 inches in length, but it was a solid brown. I'm going to go back quickly. You can see the other photo. The other photo, top left there, her hair is actually colored like a lighter color along with pink. Over her lifetime, and looking at all of her known driver's license photos, she often colored her hair everything from blue to yellow to purple to burgundy, all different colors. But at the time when she disappeared, again, her hair was darker brown like this photo, but only about 2 inches in length. Foul play is highly suspected in this case, but it has not been confirmed. No one knows what happened to her. If you know anything about where she may be today or what happened to her, you can call 1-800-346-3243, or you can go to the Facebook page that her family and friends have set up there, and by clicking on that link, and you can leave information there about where she may be. If Jordan is to actually see this message, her mother wants her to know one thing only, is that she is loved and that they miss her dearly and just want to hear from her. Again, if you know anything, you can call either that number or you can leave a tip at the Facebook page there. Our second case tonight that we normally have, this case has been removed and it has been resolved. What does a case that has been resolved mean? When a case is removed because it has been resolved, it does not necessarily mean the individual has been ruled deceased. Removal simply indicates that the case is no longer active on the site. This may occur because the missing person has been located, alive or deceased, or because new leads or confirmed information have emerged. In some instances, the case may be reposted upon updated details are verified and released. The case I was that was supposed to be case number 2 was out of Quebec, Canada, and of a Native American woman who didn't disappear just once, but disappeared twice. She disappeared from her home at the age of 19 and was found just outside of Detroit, Michigan, and she was brought into a ER. They believed that she had some form of memory loss, and then she disappeared. She walked out voluntarily from the ER to disappear again, to only reappear in Canada again in Vancouver, British Columbia, but has now since disappeared. That case again has been removed and was labeled as resolved. I do not know what the reason for it being labeled resolved is. The last case again is the missing case of my biological brother, William Edwin Finley II. He went by the nicknames of Billy, Bill, Eddie, or Ed. He was 22 or 23 years of age when he disappeared. He would be in his 70s today. He is a Caucasian male. He vanished from either the Prescott, Wisconsin, or Hastings, Minnesota area in either the 1977 or the summer of 1978. He is 5'10", 155 to 165 pounds, obviously, in the 1970s. It could be a lot more than that today. I mean, I don't know of anybody really that drops a lot of weight, as they get older. So most of us tend to put on some pounds over the years. But his hair color is brown. His eyes are bluish green. Back then in the 70s, he smoked cigarettes, but he may have given that up. He does have a birthmark, but we are not we are withholding that information because of the nut jobs out there. And medical condition is he's possibly a diabetic, because it runs on the male side of my family, from my grandfather, my father, me. I'm guessing everybody, every male, they would continue on. There's a likelihood is that my son will, be a diabetic as well. In brief, my brother was estranged from our family after opposing my father's strict religious beliefs. As a result, all known photographs of him were removed from the family photo albums. While there are some photos that survived, and Uncle had them, they weren't in the family photo album. We don't wish to share them. He may have served in the U.S. Armed Forces between 1979 and 1980, not completing his enlistment contract. People had asked about that. We have his social security number, but it hasn't been used in decades. We don't know why. And we're withholding that information as well. He is not listed in the Social Security death database or listed as dead in any of the 50 states. That includes Alaska and Hawaii. But he wasn't living underneath an assumed name when we were able to track him down to the last location. Could he have died without his identification? Possibly. Could he have been died and buried as a John Doe? Possibly. But again, if you know anything at all that might help bring closure to our family, you can click on the missing persons Department of Justice with the state of Wisconsin and leave an anonymous tip. Some of the information, like I said again, is being withheld because we are tired of the whack-a-nuts leads and false leads from people wanting inheritance money or other wacky stuff. Again, you can support this content in multiple different ways. And I keep on telling people, you don't have to necessarily do just one. There are other ways to, if you don't want to do direct donations, you can become a channel member. But of course, all of this is optional. You don't have to do it. I'm not pushing it on anyone, nor do I ever. Thank you for watching The Missing and Endangered. Break time is not over with just yet. I will tell you shortly how much time is left of your break. If it's seconds or minutes, you have 2 minutes and 16 seconds. An extra 20 pounds. You have 2 missing teens from where you live, sweet universe. I read about it was a case of 6 different indigenous women who were missing from the upper part of Minnesota. I wonder if the 2 that you're talking about are part of those 6. What is your email, Will? I relate it. I will put it in the comment section. There you go. You can also find my email address and contact information, P.O. box and everything is on my main page. You click on the 3 dots next to my name, the channel name, scroll down and it will say, are you a robot? Yes or no. If you say yes, you're a robot, it will not show it to you. If you say no, you are not a robot, it will show you my P.O. box and my email address. JDR is having hot chocolate. That sounds good. 1 girl, 1 boy. Oh. Without any further delay, let's get back to our normal programming. Oop, I got to put myself back on the screen there. Question number 11. Which killer preferred to bind victims, then talking to them or singing to them as part of his controlled fantasy? Was it A, Bundy, B, BTK, C, both, or D, neither? Let me read the question again. Question number 11 of 20. Which killer preferred to bind victims, then talk to them or sing to them as part of a controlled fantasy? Question number 11. The girl's name is something like Star Kingbird. And it is cold where JDR is tonight. Well, I hope that you're able to stay inside JDR where it's warm. Here where I am right now, it is a blistering 33 degrees and cloudy with a 10% chance of precipitation tonight after 6 p.m. Neil Diamond. Neil Diamond loved to bind them, torture them, talk to them, and sing to them. Question number 11. The correct answer is B as in boy. BTK. As part of his controlled fantasy, he loved to tie them up and then talk to them or sing to them. Question number 12. Which killer had a murder kit they took with them everywhere they went in case the urge to rape or murder came up? Was it A, Bundy, B, BTK, C, both, or D, neither? Sweet Caroline. Dun, dun, dun. That's t-shirt weather, says Sweet Universe, 33 degrees. It is to me. T-shirt and light flannel. I went to the store earlier today and people were dressed up like they were, they just came from the Arctic Circle, up north, that they're going on an Alaska adventure with parkas and their scarves and, giant mittens, like they were riding a snowmobile to the store. And I'm like, what? What's going on here? It's only in the 30s. But that's how people deal with the different temperatures. Question number 12. Which killer had a murder kit? I just saw your answer, inner piece. Which killer had a murder kit they took with them everywhere they went in case the urge to rape or murder came up? Inner piece said Dr. Phil. Question number 12. The correct answer is C. C as in cat, they both did. Dr. Phil. I gotta block, put my hand up like this and not see the comment section when I try to read that. It's 11 degrees where Sweet Universe is. Yeah, that's cold. 11 degrees is definitely cold. Question number 13. Which killer had an alter ego that was an accountant and was part of a gospel choir, married and had 4 kids? Was it A, Bundy, B, BTK, C, both, or D, neither? Question number 13. Which killer had an alter ego that was an accountant who was a part of a gospel choir, married, and had 4 kids? $11 degrees. I miss temperatures like that. You think that's crazy, but it's not. I can't regulate my body temperature because I have I think it's called a hyperthalamic gland in my brain that was damaged. So when it's cold, I'm hot. When it's hot out, I'm like super hot body temperature wise. But I miss the weather, the colder weather. At least there's a change of the season. A lot of the time where I live now, it's just hot and miserable. The only time of the year that when it's really, like a milder, like fall weather, I guess you could call it, is now. But this is winter here. We don't get snow. We get freezing rain sometimes. SoCal, it is 70 degrees and it's windy as well where Sweet Universe is. Question number 13. The correct answer is D as in dog. Neither of them. Ted Bundy never dreamed or had an alter ego that he was an accountant or had children. He does have 1 daughter. Dennis Rader really did, sing in his church choir and volunteered at the church doing their accounting work and bookkeeping. But neither one of them fit all of those, the choir, children, and being an accountant. Neither. D as in dog. Next question. Question number 14. Which killer's victim count is still very much in dispute due to unverified confessions in 2025? Not that the confessions are from 2025. They're still unverifiable confessions in 2025. Was it A, Bundy, B, BTK, C, both, or D, neither? Thank you, Lieutenant RN. Hypothalamus. Whatever it is, it's tiny and it's damaged. And there ain't no fixing it. Question number 14. Which killer's victim count is still very much in dispute? And I have Sweet Caroline just running, free in my head right now. Dun, dun, dun. Morphew. All the accounted chipmunks. I was on the Metro bus and a woman was wearing sandals and it was 5 degrees Celsius. Jesus. That's cold. Question number 14. The correct answer is A as an apple. And let's talk about the last 48 hours before Ted Bundy died, there in Florida. What did he do? He thought that they would never execute him as long as he kept on talking about crimes and murders that he had committed. And he thought the governor is never going to do it. They're never going to electrocute me. It's never going to happen. As long as I know, where victims are, or, I keep on telling them about stories, about people that I've killed over the years in my travels. Bundy, underestimated the governor of the state of Florida, who, basically was like, no, just electrocute the SOB. We'll figure out what he did later. But Bundy was all the way up to the end. He was adamant. He thought that that governor would give him a state of execution, stop the execution. And, if he kept on talking about crimes and he kept on confessing to more and more crimes or leaving hints about a crime, that he had committed in another state. But his murder count is unverified as of 2025. Question number 15. Which killer carefully staged normalcy through work, family, and church, volunteering, and civic roles? Was it A, Bundy, B, BTK, C, both, or D, neither? Dun, dun, dun. You like the Lawrence Welk? The tiny bubbles, and a 1 and a 2. The woman has the same condition as you mentioned. Which woman would that be? I must have missed something. Question number 15. Which killer actually staged normalcy through work, family, church, and volunteering in civic roles? Who could that be? The correct answer is B as in boy. Only Dennis Rader. He carefully staged normalcy and made himself look like just another face in the crowd, and that everything was right and there was nothing to watch or look at or investigate further. He had his family, he had his white picket fence. He volunteered at the church and he volunteered at civic activities and roles within his community, and not just his church. Volunteering at a homeless shelter and at a food bank with the church group. He did everything to look as normal as possible, even during the times that he was actively killing, not just his cooling off period, but actively killing. He still kept up the same ruse. Bundy, he volunteered, but he wasn't looking at trying to keep too much of a normalcy. A lot of people didn't know about his life, other than those who were really close to him. And well, he was destroying his life at the same time because he couldn't keep up with it anymore. But he certainly wasn't going out there and going to church. Oh boy, hold on a second. I have an error message on my side here. I'm trying to move to the next question. Okay. Next question. Which killer made his biggest mistake by going back to victims days and weeks after dumping their bodies? Was it A, Bundy, B, BTK, C, both, or D, neither? What a horrible murder. I guess Bundy was playing games with the governor. He thought he was. Bundy thought that he was playing 4D chess, and the governor was playing checkers. By that point, but you have to remember what was going on with Bundy on death row. Countless people lined up to interview him, talk to him, and he was a master manipulator. If you wanted to, draw a conclusion between pornography and serial killers, he confirmed it for you. You wanted to talk about childhood abuse and serial killers, he would confirm it for you. And the entire time he never stopped playing, and toying with law enforcement. He thought that he was smarter than everyone. And that's a rarity, when it comes to serial killers and criminals in general. I mean, but Bundy really, really believed that he was smarter than everyone and that he had the answer, and he was 2 or 3 questions ahead of everyone. Just to say that that Bundy was smart and he thought that he had everything figured out is an understatement. It really is. There's so much more in depth about Bundy that people really don't understand. Besides, the murder, you can put a number and a name next to that murder, but there was so much more to Bundy that somebody could. I mean, I keep on telling people, you can start an entire YouTube channel and just talk about nothing but Bundy every day for years, and still not cover everything. Snooky. Yeah. JDR. He volunteers. I don't know if it was the Boy Scouts, but it was like a Cub Scouts troop. He did volunteering with and that. Well, they were based out of his church. It wasn't like he went out and found a troop somewhere, and decided to be a volunteer. But he went along on some camping trips and outings with them, and stuff like that. But I don't know if it was Boy Scouts. In my mind, I think it was Cub Scouts or Eagle Scouts or some other group like that. That was kind of like the Boy Scouts, but I don't know if it was the Boy Scouts itself. But I do remember seeing a picture of him in a uniform, but it might have been Boy Scouts. But anyways, the answer to this question, which killer made his biggest mistake by going back to his victims afterwards? The correct answer is A as in apple, Bundy. Bundy going back over and over again. What Bundy didn't realize was each time he had gone back to the victims, he left newer foot impressions that than were there before. So the victims, the footprints had degraded, and Bundy going back over and over again kept on leaving fresh footprints there at the scenes, and they were able to. They of course, measured them, took pictures of them, and everything else, and they knew the boot pattern, shoe pattern that Bundy was wearing. But he didn't. He thought he was smarter than everyone. He thought they're too dumb. They're never going to catch me. They're never going to be able to prove this stuff. And you can see his arrogance if you ever watch the court case. Next question number 17. Which killer once dreamed of becoming a professional athlete and tried to in several sports? Was it A, Bundy, B, BTK, C, both, or D, neither? Question number 17. Which killer once dreamed of becoming a professional athlete? Which killer dreamed of becoming a professional athlete? Interpedes OJ. OJ Simpson became a professional athlete in football, Hall of Fame career in football. I guess he mastered killing people too, allegedly. Question number 17. The correct answer is D, neither. Ted Bundy actually tried to become a professional athlete or a beyond high school, starting in high school and then after high school in downhill skiing. Slalom skiing was his particular joy and where he thought that he had a skill. But that's the only sport that he ever tried in and actually thought that there was a chance that he could become a professional skier. Now, Dennis Rader, when he was a young man in his early 20s, actually tried baseball, but neither one of the two ever tried different sports. They only tried the one. Question number 18. Which killer intentionally named himself to shape and control media coverage? Was it A, Bundy, B, BTK, C, both, or D, neither? Which killer intentionally named himself to shape and control the media coverage? Those murder threats remind me of Lori Vallow threatening Andrea Artaro. I think I upset the warden or whoever is in control of the Idaho State Maximum Penitentiary, where Chad Daybell is. They're not communicating with me anymore. They haven't filled out any. They have not fulfilled any of my requests about visitors or what he's been doing. Howard Cosell. Yeah, there's somebody you could never put on a broadcast anymore. Back in the day, I mean, Cosell obviously, he was a racist, but I mean, trying to use today's morality for when Cosell was on doing Monday Night Football or whatever is wrong. But I mean, he was a racist then; he'd be a racist today if he was alive. But I just remember some of the crazy things that he used to say. I mean, I thought they were crazy then. People were just laughing. They're like, "Did he just really say that?" Question number 18. Which killer intentionally named himself to shape and control the media coverage? The correct answer is B, as in boy. BTK. He named himself and because he wanted to control how the media covered him and how the media portrayed him. Everything, right down to the letters that he sent to the law enforcement, everything. He wanted them to have a narrative of him and his crimes. Question number 19. Which killer would sometimes redress and redo the makeup of victims after they murdered them? Was it A, Bundy, B, BTK, C, both, or D, neither? FIFA request to Idaho. FOIA request. That's what I was talking about. Sweet Universe Freedom of Information Act requests, but they haven't responded. They should have responded back like 2 weeks ago. And unfortunately, because of the way that the law enforcement is in this state, they can flat out just deny and never fulfill them, and then decide, well, you want them, I guess you're gonna have to sue us for it, or they can drag their feet like they are now, and then I don't know what I'm gonna do. I just know they're not fulfilling my requests that I've already submitted, and I know they have them. I know they received them the day after I sent it in. RuPaul. Which killer would redress and redo the makeup of the victims after they were murder them? RuPaul. Well, we'll see what happens, sweet universe. All right, the correct answer to this question is A, as in apple, Bundy. Question number 20 of 20. Which killer escalated their killings in response to law enforcement failures and mistakes? Was it A, Bundy, B, BTK, C, both, or D, neither? Question number 20 of 20. Which killer escalated their killings in response to law enforcement's failures and mistakes? And this killer actually said just that much, that they escalated their actual crimes because of law enforcement's failures and things that they had done. Good evening, Terry. Welcome to 411 Now. This is the 391st edition of True Crime Trivia. If you're a fan of true crime and you like trivia, this is the place to be every single Sunday. Question number 20 of 20. Which killer escalated their killings in response to law enforcement failures and mistakes? The correct answer is actually A, as in Apple. Ted Bundy, in an interview with law enforcement while on death row, he said that because law enforcement had made multiple mistakes, he felt that he needed to escalate his crimes because they were bumbling the investigation. Again, thinking that he was smarter than everyone out there and that they were just a bunch of fools. Again, this is completely optional to give yourself a grade on the trivia questions. Some people like to keep track of all, how many they got right and how many they got wrong. Again, we're only here for entertainment and for educational purposes only. None of the content that I produce, demeans the victims or puts the perpetrators on a pedestal at all. Of the information for the 20 questions tonight, before putting this trivia together, I knew 19 of the 20. True crime loser. Why, Schmida, why? Love Scott Sharp's content. I never miss a video of Scott's. Why, Schmida, why? Got a question or a topic that you'd like to see covered on True Crime Trivia Night? I strive to have the most accurate trivia night online. However, mistakes do happen. I am only human. If you've seen an error, have a follow-up question, or maybe you just have a trivia subject that you would like to see covered, you can email me at the email address there on your screen in blue. Emails are answered in the order received. Please keep in mind, I get thousands of emails per week, especially since I've been putting my email address out there for anyone who wants to click on it, at the end of every single trivia night. And I get a lot of emails. If I don't answer back, I'm not ignoring you. I just didn't see it. But to help, me find your email, put in the subject title of the actual email, not in the actual body, but in the subject matter. Question, trivia night, 391, 390, future trivia night, subject matter, something along that line, so it'll catch my attention a lot easier. Again, if I make a mistake, I'll give you a shout out on any of the questions that were on tonight's trivia or any other past trivia. 100% of the subject matter for the trivia night are viewer suggested. And it's always been that way. And it always will be that way. Right now, the most votes for the future trivia night are on Jimmy Saville. Is got the most votes right now for maybe a next Sunday or a future trivia night down the road. There have been a total of 5 votes for Jimmy Silva. Saville, however you pronounce it. Saville. The creep from Great Britain. Born to make mistakes. Gotta go see what he's doing. True crime loser. Why, Schmida, why? As Scott would always do. If you ever get a chance, anybody who has ever seen True Crime Loser, that is the name of his YouTube channel, you need to see the videos of him doing comedy, stand-up comedy. He's pretty good at it. And in particular, you got to see if you can find the video of Scott doing the little speech at his sister's wedding. My side hurts so much from laughing watching that video. He cracks me up. I don't know if Scott's still doing stand up though. I don't know. I don't do it anymore. And I did a total of, let's see, there were 20 open mic nights that I did, and probably approximately 20 additional ones where I was the MC. I talked to the audience and then introduced the next comedian. 20 of those, and then I did maybe another 20 on top of that, where I actually did a 4 or 5 minute set. It's a lot harder than you think it would be, but I don't care. I laugh at myself constantly. No. Ooh, Purple says, remember to stay safe out there. You never know who's standing next to you next. You never know who's going to be knocking at your door. That is true. You'll have a great week ahead, Purple. This was your best night? Well, good. I'm glad. I hope you have fun. If you had fun, give it a thumbs up. Everyone who clicks that thumbs up, it helps suggest it out to more people who may want to watch this in the future, because we want the community to grow and we want more people to enjoy the content because it's free. It's 100% free to subscribe, and it's 100% free to give it a thumbs up. Leave a comment, interact with the channel. That's all I ask, really, of anyone. I don't know what next week's trivia subject is going to be. I always work on 3 different trivia nights all at the same time as I find questions and I verify the questions and the answers to those questions. So I don't know which one will be done. I don't think it's going to be Jimmy Seville, from the UK. I don't think that one's going to get done by next week, but I'm not sure. I mean, I might stumble on an article of facts about Jimmy, that I didn't know before, and then I'll be able to finish that one before the others. So kind of up in the air. I used to, at least in 2025, I like to build up at least 2 or 3 different episodes of Trivia Night that are done. Again, they're all viewer suggested. I always feel like somebody's watching me. Rockwell. That's Rockwell. I actually met the one guy from the band Rockwell back in the 80s. They were playing at the in downtown Minneapolis. They were playing at the 7th Street entry. There's 1st Street, 7th Street. There were 2 bars. But I actually met the lead singer from Rockwell. I always feel like somebody's watching me. Oh, I've always remembered that one song of theirs. Spent damn near half my life, at least my early, late teens and early 20s there. 1st Street, 7th Street entry, downtown Minneapolis, watching bands. That was my home away from home, or my second home, as someone might say. But you have a great night, Purple. If you took off, I hope I caught you beforehand. But you have a great week ahead. If you're a channel member of this channel, 411 Now, I did a live stream the other night, and it's all it right now. It's live on YouTube. It's a channel member only live stream that I do once a month. We had some people finally show up for this one. I hope to get a lot more of my subscribers and channel members to show up for the next one. But it's on Nick Reiner and his descent into hell, his drug addiction, mental health of Nick Reiner. And I try to answer the questions that so many people had asked me about Nick Reiner. But that was last night at the other night at 4:00 that I did it. No, I have not heard from Cement Shoes in their P's. Is that a huge magazine store across the street? Across the street from what? Sweet Universe? Across from the 7th Street entry, First Avenue Bar, downtown Minneapolis. Across the street now is a Greyhound station and a parking garage, which used to be a parking lot back in the 80s. And the opposite of the opposite end of the block used to be a record store there. And then the opposite corner was the Sisters of Mercy Outreach Center. But all of that's gone when they built the Timberwolves. Or no, that's not Timberwolves. Timberwolves the basketball team. Who the hell is the hockey team from Minnesota? I lose track because they're not the North Stars. Yeah, the North Stars are now the Dallas Stars. But anyways, I don't still hold a grudge. But anyway, across from 7th Street, like I said, if you walk outside of the Greyhound station, you see the wall on the 7th Street in First Avenue Bar. You'll see stars painted on the wall with the names of all the different artists who have played there over the years on there. But again, across the street is the Greyhound station. Then there is the parking garage, because I'm looking at the wall. Going to your left, it's the Greyhound station. Then there's the parking garage, and I don't know what's going on past that. The opposite direction, I don't know. The last time I was there, Joe Tall Chief, the last time there was nothing opposite of the Greyhound station on the corner there. So much of that downtown area has changed in like the last, a lot of it's changed since the hockey team and they got the basketball team, the Timberwolves, because from where the stadiums used to be. When I lived there, the only thing that was there was the Hubert H. Humphrey Dome, where the Twins and the Vikings played, and that was a ways away. But I would say in the last 15 years or so, a lot of that area, especially the last 20 years, a lot of that area has changed. I got to visit Minneapolis again after winter. Yeah, I wouldn't go during the winter. And and if you go down there to the First Avenue, 7th Street down there, I highly suggest you park your car somewhere away from that area, maybe at the Mall of America. Look, I'm just trying to say it's not the best part of town. If you're going to park your car somewhere, park it someplace safe. I mean, not necessarily the Mall of America. That's quite a ways from downtown Minneapolis, but yeah. I mean, I don't even want to be there myself. I mean, but as a teenager, it never would have bothered me at all. That's one of those things about getting older that I really don't like. I mean, I still love the music, the music scene, the independence of it all. that vibe is just. The older I get, my wife calls it, I'm in my grumpy old man years now. Get off my lawn. You see that person? They stepped on that blade of grass. I'm not like that, but she says that I am. There might be some truth in there somewhere. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to wrap up tonight's trivia night, and I want to thank again everyone who is here tonight. To take place. Please give this a thumbs up. If you're, as before we close this out, I really would appreciate it. If you have, suggestion for trivia night, please, feel free to email me at the email address that was on the screen. Again, you can find it on my main page. Click on the 3 dots at the top next to my 411 now. You'll see 3 dots there, and that'll bring a drop down menu. You scroll down, and you'll find it there after you tell them you're not a robot. I don't know why that has to be there. Again, it's also in my Saturday morning streams at the end of of every one of them now. But anyways, you all have a terrific week ahead and stay safe out there. And remember, as Purple pointed out, you never know who's going to be standing next to you next, and you never know who's going to be knocking at your door. Bye.